Hello, and thanks for joining us for tonight's discussion. This is Majority Caucus live on your multi-TV with me, Ali Dawood. My worry has been that you have seasoned or so-called seasoned journalists in Ghana that have been known to be filing very important reports on very important issues. But when this issue ensued, I'm talking about the arrest of the chief watchman at the car park of Kotoka International Airport. The chief watchman of the car park at Kotoka International Airport. Some journalists have since described him as the chief security or head of security, any of these titles that do not exist so long as his profession is concerned. What I know, and which is a fact, is that he's in charge of the car parks. He's basically the watchman there, and he's the chief watchman. And I'm sure that in terms of the hierarchy of security, we would be making a very terrible mistake if we want to attach to this man's position or responsibility as the head of security at the airports. Sami Dakun reportedly was the one who filed the story first to BBC. My hope and expectation was that he would make the necessary correction. But I must also admit that other media houses and print media have taken the trouble to since effect the necessary correction. Perhaps Joy FM might want to do same. Also on tonight's agenda, as a president profound statement on the ongoing court case. I mean, NDC was 21 years old yesterday. And on that occasion, the president made that very significant statement, a statement which has since attracted the wrath of the General Secretary of the MPP. He does not understand why the president should be hopeful that the end result or the judgment that would come from the Supreme Court subsequently would only maintain and confirm the status quo and nothing will change. He has serious difficulties and nightmares with this. My panel have more to discuss regarding this topical issues. Tonight in the studio, I've been joined in by Prince Derek Ejay, who is a Deputy Coordinator of the National Youth Authority, also a member of the Government Communication Team. In the House, it's been a while, by his back, Samuel George Nati, also a member of the Government Communication Team, an IT guru, etc. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time here.
It's a pleasure.
Prince, your take on the recent development regarding the arrest at Atlanta Airport of the chief watchman at Kotoka International Airport.
Well, thank you, Ali, and a very good evening to all your viewers and listeners. I think that ever since the year started, there have been frantic efforts by the NPP to paint the administration black. In fact, the loss, the election defeat, has actually been a very big blow to them, and so they've done everything under the sun to make not only the country ungovernable, but they've tried also to tag the administration and make Ghana an unattractive destination for business. They have a philosophy, Sikam Peroff, right? And so they try to create a climate where people would not want to invest their monies. They have indicated that unless the Supreme Court gives a judgment their way, the country will not see any peace. In fact, significant amongst the people who have spoken this way has been the flag bearer, or rather, I think, defeated candidate in the past election, the losing candidate of the MPP, Jacob Echebilamte, the chairman. We've had the likes of Sir John. But as for Sir John, you want to discount his, it's not that significant. Then there are other members of parliament like Eslo Wusu and others who have also gone on the same tangent, forgetting that they stood for elections in the same elections provided by the same EC. And so if they wish to bastardize not only the process but everything that went into the election, then they should even abandon parliament. But well, double standards is the name of the game for the NPP, so you can, forgive them that. We have had a series of fires, and we've heard from the Let My Vote Count people that they want to undertake an exercise of bombing cars, setting fires everywhere, killing school children, maiming Ghanaians, generally to make the international community realize that there's no peace in Ghana. That haven't failed largely, but they at least supposedly haven't succeeded in burning a few markets or haven't had a hand, possibly, in these, shall I say, very frequent fires that are, breaking out now, not only in markets, but now even homes in the Ashanti region. Just about 3 days ago, we had learned of the 4 people who were burnt in their home and so on. I think that the NPP should watch it. They have had a tag placed on Ghana during their 8-year administration, where Ghana was labeled a cocaine coast. In fact, this latest issue was not even cocaine, it's heroin, as we understand. But you can see a fixation by the NPP and the media acolytes rushing to call it a cocaine case, because, well, anyway, I don't want to stray in their, into their domain, but there are rumors out there that some of the people who feed on cocaine are flying out because cocaine has been scarce, and cold turkey and others are, drifting into existence, so they've had to be flown out to go and at least get some, treatment of some sort and so on.
Are you suggesting that the trip recently undertaken by him to the UK has anything?
I'm
referring
Solomon
to Akufo-Addo. Okay. I was referring to Akufo-Addo because
Akufo-Addo is different from Adelakwe.
Okay.
It's a different person.
They have nothing in common.
Well, I don't know whether they know themselves, but at least one NPP stalwart has admitted to knowing him. That is Kofi Juma today.
He knows him.
He says he knows him.
He actually got a bottle of drink from
Christmas
him.
presents, hampers.
Bosom friend.
Yeah, bosom friend. He knows his office. He actually,
he gives you a visual, graphic description of the office.
Yeah, but I hope it's not propaganda. But if it is not propaganda, or even if it is, I think that he's one of the key people that the investigations should home in on to provide extra information, because he's made an allegation against Parliament that about 80 persons in Parliament are beneficiaries of drug money from Adelakwe.
That's a serious allegation.
I think that, he's no longer a member of Parliament, but the Parliamentary Privileges Committee is able to summon people who are not even parliamentarians. But I think even the security services should be interested in getting further and better particulars of this all-important, quote-unquote, to the NPP, all-important drug situation. I think that a lot has been done to wean Ghana off the drug map. In fact, listening to Colonel Beblolate, the National Security Capo, he indicated the drop in the tonnage of drugs that have been, doing the rounds, using Ghana as either a transit or, a route of sorts. And that's been well documented in Bloomberg and other international media. But you see, what is interesting is that whilst Ghana is doing well in improving its image, there are others who are doing extremely well in trying to spoil the image. And you ask yourself, what is the purpose? Really, if Ghana is doing that well, why would we want not to sell our country, but rather destroy it? It goes to the philosophy of all die, be die. At the end of the day, Ghana must die. That is their philosophy, because Ghana is not under their, governance.
Okay.
And so I think that the stage is set for the NPP to carry out their, infamy, and they will do it with whatever they can throw. So if you listen to the clown, Sir John, that's right. You hear him try to immediately tag.
You called him what? The clown.
Well,
interesting.
No, but every time after court, he gives us something to laugh about.
In our contemporary politics.
Everything that political bubble color.
Yeah, everything that comes up, even though it's serious, he'll give you, a lighter side of it. It's not too bad, really. For a party that's going nowhere, really, I think that at least the least he can do is to offer some comic relief to ease the tension. And he tries to tie. He was the first to have been heard to have tried to tie this drug issue to the NDC. In fact, he issued a statement, and he's in the business of issuing statements. Idle hands, I think. You know what happens. The devil finds it as its best workshop. And so he issued a statement trying not only to tie the security couple, But they try to elevate, and I'm happy you gave the proper description of the man's portfolio.
Yeah. So
He is in charge of a company. That company is only in charge of the car park. And those, and I'm surprised, NPP people, most of them are, quote unquote, they've traveled out of the country using the airport. So they do know where the airport, car park is. Okay? And for the benefit of listeners and viewers, the car park is the part that you meet before you get to the departure lounge. And there's a street, between it. In fact, credits to His Excellency President J.A. Kufuor, who they are trying to rubbish in terms of the presidency, in terms of the elections, and the fact that nobody has ever won a credible election in this country because the EC cannot be trusted and so on, who they try to also give some house arrest and so on. I mean, they've tormented an old man. But at least a little credit to him. He changed the face of the airport.
Okay.
And in that process, made it a little bit more difficult to cross over from the car park to the departure side. I believe that it is when you rather leave the arrival, okay, that you enter the car park because you have to get to your car. So I think that President Kufuor has done a lot of work to put a lot of distance between the car park where this man is the supervisor. We are told he's not even a supervisor. He sits in an office. Courtesy Kofi Juma, we know it's around Achimota. And those who know the geography of Achimota and airport, it's quite a distance.
Yeah, indeed, it is a distance.
It's a distance. So if he's able to throw, or maybe these days cars can fly. I don't know the technology that people use these days, but if they can fly cars, that's fine. But the man's jurisdiction ends at the car park. In fact, his company's jurisdiction ends at the car park. But that's not to also belittle the fact that the man had successfully managed to, on his person, carry some drugs out. And I think that is where the credits now must roll. The national security, the BNI, the police, the NACOB, and all other security services played a role, we are told, from the American side, not from the Ghanaian side, but from the American side, played a role in arresting these people. And it was an operation that lasted quite some time. So it was an elaborate, operation that the DEA had its agents also participate and lured this man into traveling out to be arrested. In fact, we are told, among other things, that not only did he, transact, but he is supposed to have played a role together with his Colombian accomplices in bribing some people. And I think that the NPP should allow the process rather to sink in so we can find out which other people have been compromised, rather than throw this, political football into the works in the hope of covering everybody else. And this issue of NPP or NDC financier, I don't understand, because the last time I checked, Sir John has been the beneficiary of so much largesse from people that he calls NDC, financiers. And I don't want to go into the merits or others, but at least he owns one car that he got from.
What do you mean? Is it from William?
Well, somebody he described as an NDC financier.
Oh, okay.
And in this case, the person actually genuinely is an NDC financier. But Sir John, are you NDC? Why did you get a car from an NDC financier? Is it the Kofi Juma kind of, thing? It doesn't matter. They just play ball with anybody. And I think that we should be very frightened about the NPP characters. They are admitting, you see, the difference between the NDC and NPP is that the NDC has not admitted to anything yet. But the NPP has admitted to some things. And I think it's a good starting point. Sir John, Kofi Juma are good subjects for investigations.
Okay.
That's why I think we
I'll
should
come
start.
back to see whether or not the security should call them in for question. But Sam George, are we seeing yet another era of, a drug-infested nation, or, more or less like a country that has failed in its bid to fight the menace of drug trading?
Let me say a very good evening to our viewers, and it's good to be back. I've been away for about 6 weeks.
Indeed.
Of the media landscape. I had to take care of certain pressing personal engagements. It's good to be back on Majority Caucus. It's interesting what we have heard in the past few days following the arrest of Mr. Adelakwe, Chief Executive Officer of Sohin Security. And I wonder, you see, at times I wonder if the NPP is a dyslexic party. Seriously. Because dyslexia is a very sad condition, and it
Perhaps
appears.
you might want to explain for the purposes.
Dyslexic children are children who really have very grave difficulty in understanding the basic
low IQ,
very low IQ. It is you can even it is synonymous to autism. And that is the makeup, the psychological makeup of the NPP. It's very dyslexic because somebody has been arrested for heroin, and they are walking from radio station to TV station to every single media house in this country and talking about cocaine. Look, this whole fixation of yenina yabu pepepe, it won't wash. Obi bu cognac, not obi bu alomoa. Difference womb. When you drink cognac and get drunk, or Johnny Walker and get drunk, it's different from you taking your Alomo 2, Madingo 2, Herb 1.
They are not the same.
They are not the same.
The concoctions are different.
The concoctions are different, my brother.
Hangover.
We're talking different combinations here. You cannot possibly come and compare the NDC to the MP, so that then drugs will not be an issue in subsequent elections. You lie bad. We will have drugs as a part of our every election, so long as one political party has made it a pension to support drug trafficking in this country. And we all know that country. Narcotic Peddlers Party, NPP.
Okay.
Look, we cannot sit in this country and allow a group of individuals take this country for ransom. We have sat down for too long. Nobody in this country is more Ghanaian than yourself or myself. Yeah. This country equally belongs to me as it belongs to Sir John or it belongs to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. We are all bona fide Ghanaian citizens. Nobody can deprive us of our rights as Ghanaian citizens. And that point must be made forcefully. They cannot choose under their 8-year watch to get the name of Ghana changed from the Gold Coast to the Cocaine Coast. In the space of 4 years, the Mills Mahama administration transformed the international image of Ghana, made sure that Ghana had become a no-nonsense spot for trafficking, and then they want to turn around now and come and tell us that we are back to the good old days. Please. Under the NPP administration, all you needed to do was walk around Glens in Adabraka and see the number of junkies whose lives had been destroyed by NPP drug barons. Today, that place is a decent stretch of road because people do no longer have access to hard drugs.
Okay.
What are we talking about in this country? You see, anybody who has had the opportunity of using the Kotoka International Airport will be very clear in his mind on one thing. When you get to that airport, you have the car park where you park your vehicles. Now, the farthest you will see a Sohim security person at the departure is at the entrance to the departure hall, where they don't allow non-travelers to get into the departure hall. That is where Sohim Security's mandate ends. You see, you ask yourself that, look, is it a conscious effort to play the ostrich, or is it sheer stupidity?
I think it's the latter.
Yeah, it appears to be crass stupidity. We must call a spade. Because you ask yourself, these are people who say that they are aristocrats, so they are always flying. Rome today, Milan tomorrow. They are always using Kotoka International Airport. UK every day. They go to shop for baked beans in UK, and shop for sausages in France, and get bacon from the US. That is their lifestyle, the bourgeoisie lifestyle of the NPP. So they use Kotoka International Airport. Look, they cannot possibly tell us that they are not aware. They were in government for 8 years. That the Ghana Airport Company Limited is responsible for all airports, running and maintaining all airports in this country. And that the Ghana Airport Company Limited has a security wing called Aviation Security, short named or code named AFSEC. If you go to the airport, you will see men with the AFSEC uniform. That is Aviation Security. It is today headed by a retired captain of the Ghana Armed Forces. He is the head of security at the airport. There's a chief of security at the airport.
Perhaps his name
I can't readily remember, but he's a captain of the Ghana Armed Force.
Not the watchman.
No. You see, so when they say, and I was shocked to my bone marrow when I heard a reporter of multimedia, who now works at the BBC, who reports for the BBC, Sami Dako.
Yeah, I've been told.
Tell the BBC that the chief security officer at the Kotoka International Airport had been arrested, and I asked myself, where have we thrown professionalism to?
Very
on the altar, we have slain it on the altar of partisan parochial politics.
Let me make an addition, and then there was the re-emergence of an old story.
A 2-year-old arrest of Mohamed Ziko,
and all of a sudden,
and Joy FM dominating
Joy FM. What is this?
You know, for me,
I'm worried.
For me, you
this
see,
kind of practice.
You see, in this country, I like to say it as it is. We have tagged Radio Gold as an NDC station. They have tagged Oman FM as the septic tank of the MPP's
But the
garbage.
interesting thing is that it looks like Oman FM has accepted that indeed they are.
Oh yeah, they have. And I urge Joy FM to take a stance and let us know.
Okay.
If government is carrying out proactive measures to ameliorate the difficulties of Ghanaians, it doesn't find space on their news or editorial policy.
You can have proper, better discussions on important issues here.
But resurrecting a 2-year-old drug bust, which was carried out as a collaboration between DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency of the US, and NACOB of Ghana and National Security, they find it interesting to put it on their news and do their spin. Well, that's their editorial policy. But I will urge them to take a stance. Let us know where they stand.
Okay.
They cannot play the neutral game and they cannot blow hot and cold. They can't behave like the church fly. They can't. They should take a stand. They are not a bat. You must be a bird or an animal. Choose one. Either a mammal or a bird. You can't be a bat. Not in this Ghanaian political landscape. Take a stance and let us know. Look, I've heard people, and when I was coming here, I heard what the young elephants or young patriots
on one of the radio stations
on City FM,
the BNI graduates.
The BNI graduates who have slept in BNI cells.
Okay.
He was making an allusion to the fact that how possible can it be that a chief security, if we say the man is a security officer for the car park, how could he carry the drugs and get it onto the plane? Then I ask myself. Now it has moved from crass. It has moved from crass stupidity to gross ignorance.
Yeah.
Look, when a sting operation is being carried out, a certain amount of latitude is given.
Yeah.
Drug enforcement agencies around the world are not interested in drug couriers per se. They are interested in the kingpins.
Yes.
You arrest a courier, the kingpin is sitting at home, he will get another courier. The drug trade continues to blossom. But when you take a kingpin out, you have blocked one entire supply chain in the drug business.
Yeah.
Eric Amoating,
it's the same.
The MPP MP, he could have been arrested here in Ghana.
Oh yes.
But simply because the American authorities wanted to have a rock solid case against him,
a bigger fish,
they allowed him to fly into the the US. They got CCTV footage of him in the warehouse. That is how you build a drug case. You don't just go after crumbs. And that is why this sting operation lasted a year, where 2 DEA operatives codenamed CS2 and CS3, working under the collaboration with NACOB and National Security, allowed and gave latitude to Mr. Delacroix and his accomplices to work through the airport. If Mr. Delacroix had not been able to allow CS3 fly with the initial...
That name is not...
It doesn't sound very Ghanaian. Foreign.
Solomon Delacroix.
I don't want to mention... but it sounds very foreign.
For the purposes of this discussion, we assume that he's Ghanaian. Mr. Adelakwe, if he had not been able to move the first consignment for CS3, who was an undercover agent, through the airport, this whole operation, which brought in Rueda, Pinedo Rueda, the Colombian, and the 2 Nigerians, would not have gone anywhere.
Yeah.
It was, you see, you cannot just do a sting operation. A sting operation is not like the Hey Julo advert, where the policeman just comes and catch and they say, "Oh, officer, what has my private part got to do with this?" It is not hedging or
It's a serious exercise.
It's a serious exercise. You must build confidence between the drug barons and the undercover operative. And that is what they did over 1 year. Look, even Anas, the ace journalist, when he went into the Tema ports to do the undercover work on the customs operatives, how many times was he not arrested and locked up? But because he was working on the explicit orders of the then president, late President John Evans Sata Mills, and national security had been directed to give him cover when he was arrested, and he himself has admitted to it that he was arrested on 3 occasions because he was trying to breach the GCNet system and all of that to see the fraud that was going on in the system. He was arrested on 3 different occasions, and national security freed him, sprung him out, and made sure it was covered. That is what a sting operation is all about. And so Mr. Adelakwe's ability to move the first consignment through the immigration,
through the car
customs, through the car park, from the car park to the departure entrance, all the way through immigration and customs and national security, AFSEC and BNI at the airport, was simply a carefully calculated loophole created to get him red-handed. If you had arrested a man before he did a shipment,
I mean,
on what basis are you trying?
It brings to mind readily the case of Sima Ibrahim, the
Ibrahim
CEO of,
Sima, CEO of Exopa Models.
Yeah, I mean, when he was arrested, that was it. I mean,
you get the person. You get the person. You catch him red-handed. Right now, Adelakwe was allowed to slip through Kotoka International Airport with a tacit collaboration between national security and the Drug Enforcement Agency of the US. Allowed to board the flights, the Delta flight from Accra, lands in Atlanta, and as soon as he lands in Atlanta, he's picked up by DEA. That is simply because they knew that now picking him up, there's a consignment that bears his name, which has the heroin in it. You have a rock solid case to build against him. But if you had gone to pick him up in his office at Achimota or wherever, how would you know? And you see, another thing that baffles my mind is, a number of individuals have made them under the NPP administration, made themselves cocaine lawyers. When cocaine,
the ambulance chasers,
once somebody's arrested for cocaine, then he shows up and says, "I'm the lawyer."
Okay.
Now you seem to have a group of people who have become cocaine experts or drug experts that media houses will call as soon as there's a cocaine bust. Now, it is two issues.
Quickly,
it is either they have expertise in security matters, or they have expertise in drug trafficking, and the media houses are seeking one of the 2 expertise. I'm talking of Maxwell Kofi Juma and Honorable Kennedy Japan. These 2 men were one of the first set of people to comment on this matter. And every time there has been a drug bust, remember, when the recent heroin trafficking that went to the UK, Kennedy Japan went to the UK on a business trip, arrived 3 days later, heroin was arrested there. He came to Ghana and started talking about it. That's
an interesting coincidence.
Now, Adelakwe has been arrested too. The first MPP personality to grant an interview on the matter was Kennedy Japan.
With insults.
Is it that Kennedy Japan has security background that the media houses want to tap into his security knowledge, or Kennedy Japan has vast experience in drug trafficking? I hear his sister is serving time in Germany.
No, but Kaba can help us with that.
Kaba can help us with that.
We'll talk about that when we come back from this short commercial break. Stay with me. I'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. This is Majority Caucus. In case you just entered your room and switch on your TV sets, you are watching us live from our studios here in Accra. Also live on www.multitvworld.com across the world. We are in Syria, even though there is serious conflict there. We are everywhere. Basra, Afghanistan. We are even in Turkey, even as people continue to mass up, at the Central Square, and we are still live there. People do make time to watch us on their, is it Galaxy Tab, Uhuru, and all the likes. We are live, very live. Yeah, Prince. Obviously, I mean the point George made. Anytime there are issues sensitive as they are regarding drugs, you find the likes of these people that he has mentioned that are giving unsolicited interviews, speaking extensively on it. And the question keeps lingering in my mind is, like George said, is it that they have some expertise in it? Or is just the old story or the old adage that dry bones, you have old ladies shaking? Is that what we are saying?
Well, I think the question should be put to Kaba, because he's interviewed both of the people that have been mentioned. And so, Kaba, if you're out there, I'm sure this program will be carried later on Asempa. So, Kaba, slate no. You can pose the question to your people.
Why he's interviewing us?
This afternoon, I listened to Alhaji Baturi, actually a little displeased with the fact that these personalities had been interviewed, and then there was another Nana Obribwahin, and then the clown too had been interviewed. So 4, MPP, no NDC. It's as though there were no experts on the NDC side, and all the experts were coming from the MPP side. So, I don't know, but I'm sure Kaba will deal with that subsequently, since he still has the airwaves at his disposal. But I want to quickly look at a certain scenario. We are saying that there was some collaboration between Ghanaian officials or the Ghana government and the U.S. government, because essentially the security services of the U.S. are part of their governance machinery, that is the DEA and all that. Same way, national security, BNI, police, and airport security, excluding the car park. Because the car park part is private. It is not governmental. And it was through a tender. You understand? You don't tender things among Ghana government agencies. You understand? It's to offer the public a fair play. Yeah, to offer the, Ndum will be worried,
Hey, sorry, Caucus, not you. I mean public-private partnership.
and broadening the frontiers.
Exactly. So that part is not part of government
collaboration.
Now, I want us to look at, and very seriously, let us see how the two governments have collaborated over time on drug matters.
Okay.
This is one clear example of collaboration that has yielded some result. Now, NPP, MV Benjamin, collaboration, security services under the same government of Ghana.
Okay.
But this time, headed by the MPP. What was the result? We had drug shipment come in. The government was elected. In fact, Kandapar, I believe, was the interior minister at the time.
Yeah.
So Kandapar,
Ike Achampon was the chief inspector general of police.
And the list goes on and on, headed by His Excellency John Ajekum Kufuor. In fact, Nana Akufo-Addo was in the government.
He was in the government then. He was foreign affairs.
Foreign affairs.
Yeah, but then foreign affairs.
I believe that was around the time that those passports had gone to the drug barons and all that. So I think that
Mankwa was arrested in Brazil with one of the missing diplomatic passports.
Good. Now, so this is the situation we found ourselves in. An opportunity to exonerate themselves and, by extension, clear the name, the tag of...
before you go on, I want the relationship between Raymond Ankwa and...
Nanado. No, Raymond Ankwa was arrested in Brazil for trafficking cocaine. He's been sentenced to, I think, 25 years in prison.
I've been told
he was arrested. Or something. Yeah, he's married to... He's an in-law to Akufo-Addo. He's married to one of Akufo-Addo's sisters.
That's different from Amfo Kwachi, the one in court.
Amfo Kwachi is different. Amfo Kwachi is the one who was arrested in Germany for money laundering.
Okay. But he's the one who puts this in the yam, remember?
He also puts drugs in yam.
I mean, if you're arrested for money laundering, it presupposes that the money did not come from illegal means.
But the interesting thing is that he's been sitting by Nana Akufo-Addo in court.
Oh, no, but this is the point we've made, that Nanado has surrounded himself with people who have been convicted for money laundering and drug trafficking.
Okay. So the Supreme Court has...
There
are interesting things going on in the Supreme Court, but that's...
And this is supposed to give Ghanaians an inkling of the kind of cabinet Akufo-Addo would have formed. A cabinet or his presidential advisors would have been people who have served time for drug trafficking and money laundering. God has saved Ghana. God loves this country. I must be honest with you.
Amen. I think we must pray. But even whilst we do that, I think that I was comparing the administrations over time. MV Benjamin. Classic opportunity to rid Ghana of the tag of cocaine coast, for Nana Akufo-Addo and the Kufuor administration to have distanced themselves from drugs once and for all. What did they do? Kandapar is another personality whose image has not been done a very good deal in the MV Benjamin, when the thing unfolded. You remember the Georgina Wood Committee?
Yeah, I was going to mention the Chief Justice.
Yes, the Georgina Wood Committee, the kinds of exposés that came, and the kind of truncation of some of the reports, and then some other people who were supposed to have been interviewed who were not touched, who were even blocking the process from going forward. Chiefs, the name chief came up severally. One was supposed to have been Chief Kufuor, another chief somewhere, and a real chief elsewhere, and so on. I mean, a lot of things happened in that time. But for me, that is the aside thing. You remember the CD also, the Tagore matter, and then another chief Kufuor and others and all that.
Missing cocaine from the police headquarters.
But
and
the
all
question remains: MV Benjamin, they had a heads up from
Intel.
The security community that this was coming. It was on high seas. It was moving in your direction. Suddenly, like the Yana case where the battery ran out, that they couldn't spark the MUAG and so on and so forth. The same thing, they couldn't have fuel to fly jets. The Navy suddenly ran out of fuel. And everything went haywire, and they watched, and I don't think they watched, they supervised an operation. Because no disrespect to, cripples and, disabled persons. But frankly, I don't know how cocaine slabs look like. They may be small, they may be big, but they definitely weigh the same as anything else. 1 ton of sand is 1 ton. 1 ton of rice is 1 ton. So it doesn't matter how big or small it is. A small stone that weighs heavy and a big stone that weighs the same are the same essentially. So to have a limping man, limping Joe, Bugger Joe,
board a ship so I can go to the phone line
and limp away with 77 slabs. That must have been either a very slow security setup or
a Superman limping Joe.
It's serious. But you can join in the discussion on 030221170124. Keep the calls coming. Yeah, George.
You see, it's
before we go to the final topic quickly.
Yeah, you see, I think that look, we shouldn't even flog this matter. This should be the last we should discuss on this matter. The prosecution of Solomon Adelakwe will go on. He will serve time if he is found guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction in the United States. I think that this is another instance where we must salute Lieutenant Colonel Larry Bevlo Latte, National Security Coordinator, Mr. Yao Donko, Director of the BNI, and we must also salute Akresi Sapong, the head of NACOP, and the IGP of Police, Mr. Lassan. We must salute all of these fine security individuals in this country and the men who work under them for the high integrity they have shown. They have shown that they have the interest of this country at heart, and that not everybody, that not every policeman, not every IGP will sit down and cocaine will get missing under his watch. Not every national security coordinator will sit in this country and cocaine will get missing under his watch. Not every NACOP director will sit down and NACOP officers at Kotoka International Airport will aid drug barons. We have seen phone calls. There have been instances under Operation West Bridge where the British decided to do a counter sting operation on the Ghanaian NACOP officials there.
While they were helping them to arrest,
exactly.
They were also checking on them.
The West Bridge, the British officers
let me pick this caller and then we'll come back to you. Just hold on. Hello, Pearl.
Yeah.
Pearl,
good evening.
Good evening. You're on air.
Yeah. I just want to thank you for the good work you are doing for Mother Ghana. And as for MPP, this is what they did to Nkrumah. They did this thing to Nkrumah and they will never change. But I'm happy that they are showing themselves to Ghana. Yes. Because then the children of today were not there. But today, everybody is looking at MPP and they will continue to stay at opposition because of these behaviors.
Inshallah.
We are happy that John is focused and he is not minding them. we thank God.
Okay, thank you very much for your views. I have another caller on the line. Matthew, hello Matthew.
Yeah, I'm Matthew.
Yes, Matthew.
Calling from Siena.
Okay.
I heard some George saying, now that they shouldn't eat cocaine. Therefore, I'm challenging you to come to Wenchi, a village. There's cocaine. They sell cocaine.
Please report them.
Please report them to the nearest police station.
Have a lot of cocaine dealers there.
Are you sure I'm not one?
Hello, yeah, Sam George, you're making a point.
I'm saying that, look, a lot of things have happened in this country. A lot of things have happened in this country. Operation West Bridge, where the UK government did not even have enough trust for the government of Ghana, they had to personally bring security officers to Kotoka International Airport to do screening of baggage. They had to bring sniffer dogs into this country. And the entire government of Ghana said we didn't have the resources to feed the sniffer dogs.
Much.
They said the dogs eat too much. They should send the dogs back.
On knuckle board or something.
At that time, Esla was on the knuckle board. Esla Usu, Prince AKJ's MP.
Who's unfortunately? No, but I'm taking it to court.
Oh,
beautiful.
Okay. I will.
No, are you aware that the day the British officers decided to do a counter sting operation, the officer on duty said, I'm going home. I'm not feeling too well today, so I'll go home. It was in the evening. And so she left. As soon as she left, she stayed within the environs of the airport and came back into the airport 2 hours later. 2 hours later, when she came back in and immediately ordered a search of a departing British Airways flight, cocaine was found on the luggage, in the luggage of somebody on board the plane. When the passenger was pulled out and they took his phone, they saw a call from a NACOP official who was on duty. Meaning, as soon as the woman left, he took a phone and called and said, Mamida ko, that is what was happening in NACOP under the MPP. Today, you have a NACOP where NACOP on its own carried out a surveillance of its own men and arrested 15 of them. Just at the late parts of last year, they arrested 15 of their own men. That is an institution that has been reformed. We must salute the hard-working Ghanaian civil servants, the hard-working Ghanaian Secret Service security operatives. Okay. And let us stop this bastardization of the system.
Let me pick another call. Hello, Zuma.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I want to greet your panelists and wonderful job they are doing for this country.
Thank you.
Sometimes I really wonder why the MPP should have the moral right of talking about these drugs in this country. We have long time witnessed their behavior about drugs in this country.
Yes.
Were we not in this country when cocaine turned into this cocaine and what about in this country?
Yeah, we remember.
You see, in fact, we are in this country, we must speak the truth. But these people, when they see something coming, they jump on and talk as if they are angels in this country. We thank God. We are happy. President John is focused. And I tell you, MPP will remain in opposition for years. Because the noise that they are making, all Ghanaians knows that John Mahama is on course and he can deliver for this country.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. I have Hustler. Hello, Hustler.
Hey, Hustler?
No, Hustler. This one is like
Hustler.
Yeah, Hustler, not Hustler.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, please, I'm reaching you from Tamale.
Hustler, I need a favor from you. Could you please lower the volume of your set? I have some terrible feedback here. I want you to lower the volume of your set.
Okay. Yes, I with the issue of the cocaine. It's look as if there's no national character in looking at this issue. Because when you talk about cocaine, I think all the parties are very guilty on this very issue. Because if you say the NPP or the this thing, they are the very people who are involved in this thing. Have you forgotten that the former G.F. Anand's son was busted in London? Francis Van.
Are you referring to Nyahota Maklo's son?
No, it's Nyahota Maklo, not D.F. Anand. Please don't confuse anybody here.
Nyahota Maklo, not D.F. Anand.
Not Nyahota Maklo. We all have the when you speak as if
Yahotamaklo's son was arrested.
Dear Vanan's son has not been arrested for anything regarding this.
I'm not saying Dear Vanan. His old son was battered in London.
We are talking about Dear Vanan. I say it's not true. It's
Yahotamaklo's son. What are you talking about?
It's not.
I have another caller on the line. Please, if you don't have your facts right, just check them, cross-check them. It will do you a lot of good. It will save your integrity, and then you can make a very factual presentation. I have another caller. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, madam.
Good evening, sir.
Oh, good evening, sir. Sounded like a woman.
My name is Jackie.
You're on air.
Jackie, I'm calling from Mankasim.
Go ahead. Okay. Okay.
Because yesterday the other day, Smaba Koinara. What could so many Nara? Yana Yemen. Never in a Bekinado, no what I am warfare. The woman also, Yendi Yammer, Madasi.
Okay. Medasi, why? Medawanasi, Papa. Yeah.
President Mahama.
The President Mahama issue, we are running out of time. Quickly. He said that he's sure that the judgment from the courts is not going to go the other way. It's just only going to maintain what we are having. Basically, the status quo is going to remain. Okay.
Yeah, I think that any decent-minded person should not have a problem with that statement. Now, you see, here is a president of the Republic who stood for elections, and within the space of 3 months, he had campaigned effectively against a twice defeated candidate who had 8 years of running around marketing himself, and wins decisively. In fact, not only did he win, he was sworn in by the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, according to the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. Indeed, here is a man who contested a man who claimed that all die be die, he must win the election at all costs and so on. The man is in court, and so is the president. If the president was thinking that he had lost the election, he would not be in court. He would not even have allowed himself to have been sworn in. This is a president who everybody knows won. Don't you believe he won? Even Akufo-Addo knows he's won. And that's why he's in the UK, treating himself for hypertension as a result of his roommate of 3 years, announcing to the whole world in the Supreme Court of all places that as far as he was concerned, in the light of everything that has been said, he believes that he's of the conviction that John Dramani Mahama won the election. So what should John Dramani Mahama say? He's the president of the Republic of Ghana, he's won the elections, and the Supreme Court will confirm that.
Sam. You see, the problem of the NPP is that they think they are more Ghanaian than the rest of us. In a minute. Yes. Sammy Oku has repeatedly said, first he gave a Easter. He said by Easter, Akufo-Addo will be president of this country. That was after the case had gone to court. Yeah. Subsequently, when Easter came and no show, he has, like Reverend Wusu Bempa, reviewed the prophecy and says that by Christmas. If Sammy Oku is making that statement, and you have the first gentleman of the land make a statement that he is sure and confident that the outcome would justify the truth. The truth being that he duly won an election. He has not called the result of the court case. He says that he is confident. He is expressing his confidence in the fact that justice will be served. Justice being served is a reinforcement by the Supreme Court of the verdict of the 14 million Ghanaians who went to vote on December 7th and 8th. His Excellency,
including the 4 million plus that they want annual.
Annual. His Excellency the President has erred in no way. He has made nothing wrong, and that is why the judges have not said anything. Look, I've heard them say that when Akufo-Addo comes, he'll come and respond. Akufo-Addo has no basis and no locus to respond. Well, we are waiting. They told us he will return today. Where we are still waiting. Is now going to 8. There are still 4 more hours before the end of the day. Maybe he will arrive at 12:15 midnight. We are waiting for him, but we wish him well.
Yes, of course.
Speedy recovery.
But they should bring his medical report.
You know, today the government announced a committee.
He doesn't trust in the doctors of Ghana.
The government announced a committee to handle the 1 year celebration and memorial of President John Evans Atta Mills. We'll pledge our support to them. But it was around this time last year President Mills also went to the US for treatment, you remember?
Yes, and even the South Africa one that they talked about.
And our hearts go out to the family of Nelson Mandela too. We are praying that he gets well fast.
And
Prince Philip also.
A lot of world leaders, going for medical treatment. I wish them well. And thanks for watching. Do make a date with me on Thursday. The studio is so hot. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.